Today we are drawing 4 creepy mushrooms, and these actually exist in real life. So the facts that I'm going to tell you about them are true. We're going to journey from the mildly revolting to the most disgusting, nightmare-inducing fungus of all time. So grab a pencil, my dark little friend, and let's get drawing. We're going to start with the dead man's fungus. I can't imagine why they decided to call it that. And we're going to grab a couple of reference pictures just so we can get the rotting buried fingers clawing their way back up to the surface for revenge, drawing just right. They grow out of decaying wood, tree stumps, and the occasional tombstone. This one's super easy, so that's why I decided to embellish things by adding the tombstone. And when I'm drawing on my tablet, I actually like to do a super rough sketch first. I use like Adobe Fresco because I have a PC and because it comes, free with all the other Adobe software that I use. So I'm just adding stuff as I go to give the scene like that deliciously spooky vibe. So once I get to this stage, I then go over the rough sketch with my vintage inks pen and I fix up any mistakes, and this is what really makes it look like a cohesive drawing. By the way, the dead man's finger fungus, God, that's a tongue twister, has really bad table manners. It likes to grow wherever there's rot and decay stench, and it starts eating things before they're actually dead. So let's just say you've got a tree with some dead wood around. It moves in via this weak spot of the tree and then slowly starts to decay the rest of the tree from the inside out. And once you see the fingers part of the fungus, that's actually the fungus's reproductive organs. So it's really advanced by that stage, and you have to cut the tree down and dig out the roots to stop it from spreading to other trees. The next mushroom in our cursed collection is the bleeding tooth fungus, and yes, that's its actual name. It literally looks like it's a mushroom crying blood. So when the mushroom's a teenager, it goes through this gross crying blood phase. And even though it looks like it's just been stabbed 100 times, the red stuff is actually the mushroom's version of sap. But when there's too much water around the mushroom, it ends up soaking up too much moisture. So it has to sweat it out. And it sweats out the water mixed in with a bunch of its mushroomy chemicals, which gives the water that gross red colour. The trick I love to use is this special new pastel pencil in Fresco. It's the closest digital brush that I've found to producing the same texture I get from colouring with actual pastel pencils, which is my favourite medium if I'm working on paper. I've actually coloured this really lazily and really fast because I knew that drawing 4 mushrooms would take me forever. So I've kept all the black outlines because that just makes it a lot quicker. And then I've just messily brushed it in with this pastel pencil brush, but it gives it that super textured and slightly scrappy look, which I like. Fungal horror number 3 is the cordyceps fungus, commonly known as the zombie parasite fungus. Yeah. This one's actually pretty infamous, so you may have heard about it already. It's the fungus that turns insects into zombie puppets and then bursts out of their head like the Alien movies. I mean, I actually think that this is where Alien movies got that idea from. It starts with a single spore, and this spore lands on an unsuspecting insect, and then it quietly slips inside. And then, get this, right, this is really disgusting. It begins to take over the ant's body, not its brain. So the ant is actually fully aware that some alien species has slipped inside and is taking over its body. The fungus then forces the ant's body to climb up to a high place on a branch or a leaf, and then it makes the ant bite down and lock its jaw onto a leaf or a twig so it can't move. Right, so this poor ant is completely aware of what's going on. It's just dangling there with like this insane level jaw cramp while the fungus grows slowly inside it and through its brain and like bursts through this ant's skull, finally killing the poor thing after a long and harrowing death. To keep this mushroom set looking cohesive, I use the same colour palette across all four. If you use the same pens and the same colours, that's kind of how you get this cohesive collection across all of your drawings, if that's what you're aiming for. I've actually created a fiendish fungus starter kit for you as a freebie download. All four mushrooms from today as line art so you can practice your colouring. I will give you all of the colours in hexadecimal colours so you can, and RGB as well so you can replicate them. And I've even got like a special texture file that I use to get that kind of like textured look if you don't want to do it the hard way like I do and you want to just draw in vector and then slap some texture over the top afterwards. We end, as all good stories do, in feces. This is the hat thrower fungus, a tiny, harmless looking mushroom that lives in cow poo. And I use the word harmless loosely because this little mushroom doesn't just sit there in the festering filth, no. It uses the poo as a launch pad to fire spore missiles at the face of the cows that happen to walk by. I mean, rude. So the tip of its stalk builds up enormous amounts of pressure inside and then it explodes, launching this spore capsule over like 20,000 times its own length. That's literally like a human throwing their head across 3 football fields. You see, it wants the animals in the vicinity to eat the spores and then poop them out, making more poop mushroom babies, right? So it just waits, like lurking in the shit, and then it launches its ambush plan into action. It's so gross. So to draw this lovely mushroom snack, but like please don't eat it, I decided a simple animation was really the only way to go. Right? So I started off with the poo, and then I drew this one 3 times, throwing its hat. So here's frame 1, here's frame 2, and there's frame 3, and then you speed it up, and you have poo in your face. So your challenge is to pick your favorite, most disgusting, creepy mushroom from this video and then draw it in your style. You can tag me on Instagram, hashtag Thelonious fungus, let's call it. Yes, because I would love to see your creepy, weird artwork. And then if we get enough of them, we can literally take over Instagram with creepy funguses, literally obliterate like all the cute little fungus pictures, you know, because anyone can draw a cute little fungus, but not everyone can draw a creepy horror fungus. That's right. We shall infect the internet with like the dead man's fingers fungus, like rotting the internet from the roots outwards, taking over with our creepy mushrooms. Yeah, you've got to dream big.